Solstice blessings to all. This is Avalon Caravan coming to you on Solstice Eve. The longest night, the shortest day. From now on, it starts getting a little bit brighter for us, which is great. This last couple of weeks has been a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. For last week we had the really cold snap. Every single tap on the farm froze solid. The toilet froze solid. At first we could actually flush it with a bucket, but then actually the basin froze solid as well. So 3 days of that before that could thaw out a little bit. Only yesterday did the actual system start working, which has been a bit of a nightmare. We've got all the taps back on again now, which is great. It just shows you the sort of fragility we have, when you're living off grid to an extent and you're reliant on certain things. You really appreciate certain things like running water, your toilet, this sort of thing. I was a little bit worried about the gas bottle because I've been using a lot of heating. So I decided to put the gas bottle in the car. Hi, Loki. The gas bottle in the car. Went down to the local trader. There aren't any. There's a shortage. Did I want to go on a waiting list? So the answer is definitely yes to that. So I actually got the call yesterday, no, a couple of days ago actually, to say that it was in and I could go and get the bottle. The problem is, my car on the way to work the other day decided to disintegrate a wheel bearing. So that's now in the garage. So it's not the fact that it's the car that's broken down, it's the consequences of that when you live out in the countryside. When you think about it, that is a lifeline. Yes, people help out. The farmer here said, didn't want to see me without gas. I've got gas, it was just a secondary one in case I needed it. He took me down to get that. I was all supposed to go and pick up some bits and bobs and, to be honest, get some logs for my mum. Mum lives with my sister in town. They have a log burner, and she only had one bag of logs left, and she lives downstairs. She's not a well lady, but she's coping. She's going on. She's 93 nearly, so that's going some really. And she does well for that. And it's funny how people pull behind you. Also, it gave me a chance and my ex a chance to sort of break some ice. We get on really well, but obviously there is a bit strange she has had a new partner for a year, and you think to yourself, there's always that thing in the back of your head. But it was the ideal opportunity. She rang me up and said, look, we can't see your mum without logs. She got on really well, my mum, and her and her partner said, we'll take you and get them, which I'm unbelievably grateful for. It was a lovely thing to do. Went back, had a cup of tea with them, so that's completely cleared the air as far as I'm concerned now. And I think it was needed. It was all on my part. I'm the one that's sort of held back, but now you come to terms with things. You have plenty of time to think about things when you live on your own off grid. You've got your little caravan and your dog sat there, and all your contact is through social media. And that moment, it's cleared. As far as I'm concerned, that's it now. Get on with everything. They can. I'm friends with my ex. I don't mind chatting to her new boyfriend. He's a lovely guy. Don't get me wrong, and he's ideal for. And it takes time for that to sink into your brain. Anyway, that's how people pull together in this sort of situation, right? I'm isolated here. Today I've spent the whole day, well, from 8 o'clock this morning till about 2, helping the farmer sort of herd his pigs and load the pigs onto the wagons. And that's another thing that the countryside does. You help each other out. There's no payment involved in this. He helps me out, I help him out. You know, that's part of it. The other problem, obviously, with things like this, with a car that's missing, is you can't get to work. So I've lost 2 days' wages. I couldn't get to go beating this week, which is Thursday, Friday. So, oh, excuse me, that's another couple of days that I won't get any tips for or whatever. Also means I can't get any birds to eat. So it's a sort of knock-on effect. The other thing that you find out when the weather goes that bad, and we're going backtracking a bit here, is how you keep warm. Now, I've ordered a burner, you know, a log burner for the caravan from Glastonbury Burners. Lovely little thing, the Mini Cyclops. I can't wait to get it in here. I've seen them working. I know people who've got them, and you know, for this sort of situation, they're probably one of the best burners on the market. So I've ordered all the bits. They've all arrived now. My caravan's chocker with sort of flue pipes and links and double insulated bits and cowls and everything. That's all waiting. Add to that the Christmas presents. Yeah, so the caravan's absolutely chocker at the moment. So I'm not going to show you around the caravan. It just makes things, and it annoys me, you know, because there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to put things because other things are in the way, you know. And my plan was to wrap all this stuff up, take it to my mum's, put it under the tree because I'm going to go for Christmas dinner with them. Just got the yards here. I was up at 10 to 6 this morning because the pig people were supposed to be coming at 7. They turned up at 8. The lorries didn't turn up till 12. So I could have had a bit longer in bed. But never mind, you know. I'm not at work tomorrow. I don't have to get up early, but I dare say something will wake me up. It's bound to. Anyway, I'm just drifting on here. You know, I'm not the sort of person that has a little plan of what I'm going to say, and I know all the vloggers out there that do it professionally say, you know, have a plan, it's scripted, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to mention that. I just ad lib it, I'm sorry, you know, if that's not what you're used to, that's what I do. I ad lib what goes on in my life. Anyway, the cold weather. The gas heater's great, but I've said before, they give off moisture. And this, you know, my little Carver heater, it's starting to show its age. You know, the button keeps breaking, the ignition wire keeps coming off, and it's becoming a nightmare, you know. Having the burner, it's going to give me a nice source of dry heat and a source for cooking on. Also, I'm thinking of ripping the burner out because it takes up so much space. You know, the burner's not very wide. You know, you're only looking at 6 inches wide, but it's probably got a good 2 foot, 2.5 foot behind it, which is just empty space. You know, which is, to me, is wasted space. Now, I'll probably take the cupboard out that it's in and put a chair there, you know, because you find yourself living on a bed. You know, I'm sat on it now. You know, I mean, this is my bedroom, living room, so I'm sat on a bed all day, which is not great for your back. You know, it really isn't. So having a chair in here, I'll probably be a little bit better. Oh, go at it again. No, I always do this when I come on film. Anyway, you know, it's one of those things. You know, you just get on with life and try. You know, I found that keeping warm is a bonus. I mean, like I said before, I got a 16.5 tog duvet now. This lovely reindeer fleece that's on top of the bed as well, which keeps me warm. Now, what I have found, although the pillows, I've got the fleecy top on as well, I bought a kilogram of sort of wool fleeces of the offcuts. Now, some of these are actually quite good. Now, I got, you know, this big black one here. This is, you know, quite a sizable lump. What I found is, if I lay that over the pillow and use it for my head, it's amazing how much warmth that gives you. In fact, it gives you too much warmth. You know, I mean, my son was over, and he found it too hot. He couldn't cope with it because it you know, insulated his head so much that he was too hot. And this is natural fibres. You know, natural sort of things are so much better. I mean, you know, it's evolution. You know, they've developed these things for a reason. You know, a reindeer keeps warm in minus 30s. And so do the sort of indigenous people of the areas they live, you know, up in either, you know, the Inuits or up in sort of Lapland or whatever, you know, these people have developed the way they live and how they live and what they use to keep warm. And we need to adopt some of those things at times. And I found that this has been a brilliant way to do it. So, you know, I mean, that was just a sort of little thought on it. Tomorrow, I don't know what I'm going to be doing, to be honest. It's another day off. Not that I wanted another day off, because although it's nice to be off work, there's a difference between off work and having to be off work. You find yourself just, you know, laying down, having a doze, waking up, having another doze, and you end up like this, really tired, but not tired. You know, and that's the enemy, you know, because it starts to sort of get you down a little bit, you know, because, you know, come sort of half past, you know, sort of 3, 4 o'clock-ish, something like that, it's getting dark out there, so you've got to spend that whole evening, you know, with yourself, doing very little, because, you know, I run USB lights in here, I run, you know, things like that, I run the caravan lights, which are LEDs, which are great, but they're not the sort of lights you can do things with. You know, you can't tidy the caravan with them. You know, if you do that, I'd have to put a headlight on. And I've already run that out today once by using it. Another thing it's learnt me over this last couple of weeks is, you know, the importance of having stuff in. Now, I was lucky in that, you know, I work with somebody who's very into the prepping side. You know, she buys cases of everything, you know. We have a bit of a laugh with her, you know, and find it amusing. But, you know, this is very conspiracy theory based. But, like all these things, you know, a lot of it is based on some truth somewhere. Anyway, I decided that, you know, I'd started buying a few extra things. Now, I bought extra, you know, cans of chili, cans of curry sauces, this, that and the other, as a prepping thing. But actually, what I didn't know was I was prepping for the fact that my car broke down. You know, so, you know, by prepping yourself with some stuff in, it's, you know, it's allowed me to sort of eat. You know, because otherwise I'd be relying on people taking me here, there and everywhere, or getting them to bring me stuff. You know, I'm concerned because my milk's going down a bit at the moment. You know, I've got a whole day to go before I get the car back. Oh, I'm really, really sorry about this. You know, I've got a whole day before I get the car back, so that sort of couple of pints is going to last me all tomorrow and most of Friday. So that concerns me a bit. You know, I do like my tea. I'm from Yorkshire. I do like a good cup of tea, hence a cup of tea. So you've got to think about these things. Yeah, this is a bit of a long video for me, I must admit. And it's going to take ages to upload because I'm running, you know, with no Wi-Fi up here. It's only sort of 4G and being in the middle of nowhere. You know, it's a bit slow. So you have to excuse, it'll take a while to post. But just a few thoughts that's been going through my head again, as usual. What I'd like to say now, though, is it's probably going to be the last time, possibly the last time this year, to be honest, that I do one of these. So I'd like to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And in the new year, hope to bring you a few more videos. You know, probably the log burner install, things like that. Although that might be a photo montage, because the thought of video in it at the same time as trying to fit it probably isn't going to work for me. I've not got a flash camera, I use my phone. So, you know, there we go. Have a great Christmas, and I'll see you in the new year. Let's have a long caravan. Stay safe.